Wild Things. What can I say about this movie? Well, let me start with an admission. I had never seen this movie before until this year. Wild Things is a 1998 film that stars Matt Dillon, Neve Campbell, Kevin Bacon, and Denise Richards. The basic story is that it follows this character who's a guidance counselor, played by Matt Dillon. He works at this high school, and he's kind of this ladies' man. Apparently he has this reputation for being with a lot of women in the town, just being, kind of a bit of a playboy. There's a girl in the school played by Denise Richards who has a crush on the teacher. She's always kind of trying to get his attention and affection and ultimately wants to sleep with this guy. But of course he knows there's this boundary between teachers and students and respects that, but that really doesn't stop her. Eventually we get to a point in the film where he's having her and this other girl over to wash the dirt off of his Jeep. It's like for charity or raising money for the school, something like that. And one of the girls leaves and it's just him and Denise Richards' character, and we don't really see what happens in this scene. It fades out and then it comes back in and we see her leaving the house, very upset and running away. What happens shortly after that is an accusation of rape. So Denise Richards' character says that Matt Dillon's character raped her in that instance, and of course he says that he is innocent. And basically we go into kind of this court trial situation where he's defending himself against this accusation. We get introduced to a couple more characters. One of them is played by Neve Campbell. She's this other girl, kind of like this goth hardcore chick, very different from Denise Richards' character, but she also says that Matt Dillon's character raped her. So now we have two girls from the same high school saying that they were raped by this guidance counselor. And we get to meet this new character played by Bill Murray. He is Matt Dillon's lawyer. He's going to defend him against these accusations. And I was quite surprised to see Bill Murray pop up in this movie. I mean, I've heard of this film for a long time, never knew that he was in it. I mean, I saw his name in the opening credits, so I knew he was going to pop up at some point. So he does finally arrive as the supporting character, a little comedic relief for the film. And again, he is playing the character of Matt Dillon's lawyer. We start to see what this guy's going through just on the simple accusation of rape from, again, not only one but two young girls. And even though he hasn't even gone to trial yet, we see that he's basically going to have to resign his position as a teacher, and that's going to also impact his ability to be hired at any other schools. Just the simple accusation has basically ruined his career, upended his life, and now he's just basically fighting for his innocence, doing anything he can to show that he's actually the victim here. Things kind of move into a courtroom drama at that point, where we have both the girls testifying against him, and really that's about as far as I can go with the plot. There's some pretty major twists throughout this movie, and I really can't think of a way to explain the plot further than this point of the film. But let's be honest, does anyone really know what the story of this movie is? I certainly didn't, which is why it was a great blind buy experience. I mean, I think we all know this movie from one scene in particular. A legendary makeout scene between Denise Richards and Neve Campbell. No, I'm not going to show the full scene here, but you can easily find it online, or you could just watch the movie like I did. The story takes place in Florida near the Everglades. It has this kind of steamy, sexy, erotic noir thing going on, but really you can look at the film in two ways. You're either really watching it to see these sex scenes, but the whole rest of the movie kind of works as this classic noir tale. Comparisons might be made to the film Body Heat. I don't think that'd be a fair comparison. In my opinion, Body Heat is a far superior film, but there are some similarities there. They're both kind of referencing that same noir feel, and they both have that sexy, erotic nature about them. As I mentioned at the beginning, Kevin Bacon is also in this film. He plays this police detective character. He also serves as an executive producer on the film, which is kind of interesting. And he has a role in what I think are one of the most unintentionally funny parts of this movie, that same infamous makeout scene where he's holding a camera filming this happening. The expression on his face is priceless, like he had no idea what he was going to see when he started rolling that camera. But the movie also has a lot of twists up its sleeve, and I would say far too many twists for its own good. This is a film that establishes itself as one thing when you start watching it, and then it slowly turns into something else after that first twist. And then we get into the third act, and there's just twist after twist, and it's not just one twist too many, it's frankly like 3 or 4 twists too many in my opinion. And as far as what the movie is actually about on a deeper level, I don't really see that any subtext is there. I mean, we do get a lot of shots of alligators throughout the film, perhaps representing a deadly beast just below the surface, ready to attack at any point. Again, it was a blind buy. I just picked up the Blu-ray, saw it on sale. This is the unrated edition, and the theatrical version runs 108 minutes. This version runs 115, and there's really nothing different. They just added what was originally deleted scenes, it seems like, to the end of the film. So during the end credits, we get these deleted scenes spliced in, and what those scenes do is really fill in these gaps, really these gaps of logic, because believe me, by the end, after all these twists, you're going to wonder how all these things happened and how all these characters were involved, and these scenes sort of do that. So in the end, Wild Things still survives essentially because of this one scene between Neve Campbell and Denise Richards. I mean, if you are a fan of film noir, I do believe there are elements of the film that you'll actually like. But truly, by the end of the movie, it's all pretty ridiculous. Now, this is the first film on this channel that I've talked about that really isn't all that good, so it's probably about time that I give these things a rating. So for Wild Things, I'm going to give it 5 alligators out of 10. I really believe there's like a 50-50 chance that you're going to like it, either based purely off the sex scenes or an appreciation of the film noir elements. Now, this movie isn't available for streaming anywhere that I found, but you can still pick it up on Blu-ray or find some other way to watch it. But really, if you're like me and it's 2020 and you've never seen this movie, don't wait any longer. Just check it out and judge for yourself.